driving through the night trying to keep my eyes open. The generator's busted and the AC's broken. I'm talking to the Lord, hope he helps us get there safe. And we made it to the show, now we're singing to the crowd. We're playing encore and they're screaming real loud. Try to get home early, but I know that ain't the case. Yeah, it's another hotel room, sleeping on the floor. I'm hurting in the morning from the night before. Pay my dues, I'm eating, love the road. I'm coming home, baby, leave the porch light on. Breakfast in the morning from 7 to 9, but we just can't seem to wake up in time. We grab a cup of coffee and we're off to hit the road. Now we're running on fumes, no time to kill. We got one more show and it's a shitty door deal. Breaking my back just to make a couple more. Yeah, it's another hotel room, sleeping on the floor. I'm hurting in the morning from the night before. Pay my dues, I'm eating, love the road. I'm coming home, baby, leave the porch light on. Yeah, it's another hotel room, sleeping on the floor. I'm hurting in the morning from the night before. Pay my dues, I'm eating, love the road. I'm coming home, baby, leave the porch light on. Yeah, it's another hotel room, sleeping on the floor. I'm hurting in the morning from the night before. Pay my dues, I'm eating, love the road. I'm coming home, baby, leave the porch light on.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to know why I'm here today? It's not because I want to give you a pep talk or because I want to make you feel good about yourselves. No, I'm here to tell you the truth.
All right, hey! Welcome in for the evening. I'm glad that you're here. Hopefully, we get a sound check. I always like to get a sound check pretty early on. Thank you for Australia checking in, Oklahoma checking in. It's so exciting to see that this is from all over the world. You know what's funny? Like way back in the day when I was a youngster, the idea that that I could talk to an international community from people literally all over the world talking about shit, and people talk to me from all over the world, I thought that would never be possible. And now we take it for granted. We go on and we're like, oh, look, everybody's signing in from literally all over the world. Like it's no big deal. It is kind of a big deal. This was a big deal for my generation. We didn't have this shit when I was younger. So it's very cool. And I appreciate you checking in. Thanks for being here, Michelle Forrester. Thank you for some of my regulars. Ange, thanks you you for coming in. Barbara Ricks from Oklahoma again. My moderator, Kimberly, who's almost always here. Firsties, almost always. Thank you for showing up. I'm going to talk about a lot of different things, but it is kind of an open Q&A, so I will try to keep my eyes open for questions because it's pretty loose. There's some growing changes on my, or growing pains. There's some growing pains on my channel. I wanted to kind of explain to you some things that are happening different, like, for example, tonight's show, which is about a half an hour later than it normally goes. So one of the things that I did recently behind the scenes is I changed the style of my account, allowing somebody to help me manage some of the back end stuff, like videos, and making sure that videos are on the correct playlists and stuff like that. Because as I've got over 250 videos in my collection now, it's starting to get a little unruly, and sometimes I forget something, and sometimes I forget to tag stuff up right. So as I grow bigger as a channel and my library gets bigger, I need a little help. And some of that, unfortunately, has to be in a labor of love, at least for the time being. Now, if I find in the future that this channel were to somehow grow really big, then maybe I'll hire somebody to do the job. But for right now, I need some volunteer work and some volunteer help for people who just love the content. And so I've got a little bit of help already. So I'm moving in that direction. However, that broke some shit for me when I moved over to a different style of account. It was supposed to be all back end stuff, but basically my URL to my account changed everywhere. So things were just broken in uncrazy places. It should have looked transparent to all of you, but for me, it caused a lot of problems. Happy Friday to Wolf Angel. Thank you for coming in. And number 9, Katie, thank you for encouraging people to hit the like button. Yes, please like this this video now, because we're trying to build some momentum. The more people that are in here, the more passion I get, although I feel like I do pretty good at maintaining passion, even if there's 3 of you. But of course, it's always better when you think that somebody's actually listening. So 6:30 new time format is going to be something I'm going to try for a little while. Tonight's the first test flight of a 6:30 time. The problem is is the 6 p.m. time frame that I was going before. It feels like it was kind of in a sweet spot for where I'm at, right? I'm on the West Coast, and so it allows it's not terribly late for East Coasters at 9 o'clock. Most of my audience, the majority, 95% of my audience is United States citizens, although a lot of people are checking in from all over the world, and I suppose I don't even know what time frame would be best for you, which is why I've worked in noon Pacific Standard Time shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays to allow our international group a little bit better time. But the 6:30 time does a couple things for me. Hopefully it doesn't bite me in the ass, but some other major YouTubers go live at a time that conflicts with me, and my audience is very similar to several other well-named YouTubers. And so I was told that, hey, if you want to have a little bit more participation, you're going to need to move yourself away from the bigger names. Like, that makes me feel like I'm the cheap date, right? I'm the date that you go to if you don't have some better option on the table. But I did that in order to separate myself a little bit from the better option. So when you have the better date option, I'm going to move myself away so that I become your booty call after that date. That's a horrible language, and I'm not going to be anybody's booty call. That's not even a factor. The point being, I'm trying to make it funny, and I'm probably doing a horrible job at it. The point being is I'm moving to a 6:30 time frame to see if I can separate myself from some of the other shows that are going live at the prime time, because this is prime time. It's like media. Like, on television, there are certain shows that fight for the prime time coverage, because that's the time that you get most coverage. East Coast, West Coast, getting off of work from West Coast, before it gets too late on the East Coast, there's a sweet spot in there, and that's where I kind of was. But I'm going to go ahead and test moving a little bit further. Welcome from Atlanta, Georgia, Paris Rivers show. Thank you for checking in. So that's why we're trying this 6:30 tonight. We'll see how it goes and see if it really makes any difference whatsoever. Woon Woon can't believe they won the CD last night from Murder Metal Mayhem. By the way, Woon Woon, I did you a solid on that one, because technically what I said wasn't 100% correct. Apparently, Wes Craven, and people who didn't watch Murder Metal Mayhem, they don't know what I'm talking about. Apparently, Wes Craven did not confirm that Freddy Krueger's middle name was Charles. That's a fan fiction thing. People believe, and they've talked on Reddit forums, that they think that it was Charles, and they have reasons to believe so, but Wes Craven actually hadn't confirmed it. So you got away with one with Pete Altieri, and you got yourself a CD for coming up with Charles. To be fair with you, it was an awesome trivia piece. You had to have been in the fan community to really know Charles was Freddy Krueger's last name. And people are like, what the fuck does this have to do with Devil's Advocates? Well, We went on live last night with Pete Alteri from Murder Metal Mayhem talking about the Gilgo Beach Long Island serial killer, and it got a little dark and it got a little twisted. And then Pete decided to give away a CD of some humorous clips that he's done, and he did a trivia contest. And if anybody could tell the name of the bad guy in Nightmare on Elm Street, that he would take all the positive answers and then do a random draw. Woon Woon came out of the booth. Everybody's like, Freddy Krueger. And I'm like, dude, you just softballed that shit. Everybody knows it's Freddy Krueger. And Woon Woon's like, it's Freddy Charles Krueger. And I'm like, where the hell did you get Charles from? And I looked that shit up on the internet, and that is a common fan fiction belief that it was Freddy Charles Krueger. So I told Pete, Woon Woon's got to get the prize. He's the only one who came up with Charles as a middle name. So yeah, that's where we went. All right, Crystal Wright, thank you for letting me know on the soundtrack. It would be horrible if I had gotten 10 minutes and 47 seconds into my show and found out I still didn't have sound. Wouldn't that be horrendous? But anyways, Woon Woon, thanks for checking that out. I'm glad that you won the CD. I'm glad that hopefully you get that CD. I don't know if you gave him your address, but that was a cool moment for you and for me. I thought it was great for everybody. I thought that was fantastic. There's going to be some studio changes coming. By the way, I'm going to get to the big news. There's some big news. Bryan Kohberger's got some big news, in my opinion, to talk about. And Luigi Mangione has massive news. We'll talk about that in a moment. But let me just get a few more pieces of business out of the way. The studio that I'm working in, my home studio that I'm working in, is going to change a little bit, I think, on Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. Although it might be after that, because a lot's happening on Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll tell you about that in a second. But I'm going to be changing up studio lighting in this place and try to get it a little bit better for me and a little bit more comfortable for me in my home studio. So there's going to be a change in the design. I'm always trying to improve my show. I'm trying to improve my content. I'm trying to improve my delivery. I'm trying to improve my thumbnails. I'm trying to improve my reach. I'm constantly working on building the channel. I'm trying to improve the community. And by the way, as a community, don't forget that we have a Discord channel, and that tonight after the show, we're going to have... Don't forget, I changed the banner along the bottom. Don't forget the After Dark party for adults only on Discord, and streamed versus the Backstage. No, we're not going to stream it on Devil's Advocates Backstage. That's another change that we're making. So I got to change that banner, and I'll do that hopefully before the next show. The reason why we're not going to stream it to my YouTube Backstage account is mostly because of this. The last time, and granted, Birdie Bombshells was in the house for the After Dark show. After Dark is an adult-only show on Discord where we let it loose and we say a lot of inappropriate things and we drop a lot of swear words and we talk sexual innuendos and it gets a little off the hook. Well, it got so off the hook last time and the drinking was so heavy last time that I decided it's probably not best to have that recorded on YouTube and replayed in perpetuity. So I didn't want people to go back and watch what was said that night. I figured that's one of those events you're either there live for or you're not, and you don't get to go back and watch if you weren't part of that original cast and start to make fun of people who were maybe not thinking all that clearly. So I'm not going to stream anymore on YouTube the Backstage to the Backstage account, the Discord thing. But if you want to participate in the Discord channel in the having some drinks and being a little irreverent, and yes, sexual innuendos fly pretty heavily, let's do that though on Discord only and not broadcast that where people can record it and replay it, and we have to regret everything we say, although there's probably some regrets already from last time we did it. And then let's see, I wanted to let you know Monday, I was going to go live with Birdie Bombshells. That is getting moved to Tuesday night. Birdie Bombshell informed me that he had a very big interview / guest coming on that could only do it on Monday at our normally scheduled time. So he graciously asked me if I would be willing to be pushed out as the second choice of the night for the evening. Would I be willing to get bumped for somebody more important than myself? And yes, of course I will. I'm always the second choice. So I will move to Tuesday. And I have no beef with Birdie Bombshell. To be honest if I was in his position and I had the kind of individual that he's got coming on and they could only do Monday, I would probably ask my host too, can we bump Monday's show? I got a special opportunity. So Birdie Bombshells, if you haven't heard from him, you might want to check him out on his show, see who his special guest is, and check him out. And I will get bumped till Tuesday. Now, in addition to that, I'm getting off on my time frame. I was going to tell you something. I'm off my time frame. So that's this coming Tuesday. All right. So Wednesday is the hearing for Bryan Kohberger. It's not a hearing as much as it's a, well, I guess it's a hearing. But anyways, Bryan Kohberger has the sentencing hearing, if you will, where he's going to be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. During that, it's going to include victim impact statements. So they're anticipating at least 8 hours, possibly pushing into a second day, where families are going to get up on a podium and basically be able to address Bryan Kohberger and the judge and tell them how they feel about things that would then weigh into the judge's decision on how to render his sentence. And so that's going to be a long ordeal. I plan on being there. I made a video today, I'm going to be honest with you. I made a video today that I'm still editing to put out there. And in it, I express a little bit of fear on my part that going to this, I could literally get myself in physical danger. The reason being is that the defense believes that the emotions are super high on this case, that people want Bryan Kohberger dead. And if details come out, because right now the gag order has been lifted, that's the big news of tonight, is the gag order has been lifted so anybody can talk. Steve Gonzalez, again, was out there talking up a storm, and he said some shit that just absolutely stunned me. I literally, the thumbnail I think I'm making for the video is, I can't believe he just said that. And I'm going to make that, I already recorded the video. It ended up coming in at an hour and a half of ranting. I'm deciding to try to cut that down to under an hour. So I don't think you need to listen to me rant for an hour and a half. I think I'm going to try to do that in under an hour. And so there's going to be some kind of thumbnail to the extent of, I can't believe they just said that, or he just said that, because again, what I heard today, it's clear that as the gag order is lifted, as the non-dissemination order is lifted, we're going to have more questions, not less. We wanted answers, and all we're going to get is more questions. No, we're not getting answers. We're getting more questions. Are you kidding? That's what you're going to say now when the gag order is lifted? I have new questions. Holy shit. All right. In addition to that, thank you for all the gifted memberships. Congratulations on those who received one. Woon, how did you gift memberships in my room? Yes, gifted to Woon. How? I have been trying to figure this out. I've been trying to figure that out. I knew there's a way that I was supposed to be able. In fact, now that you mention it, I thought one of the changes I just made on my account would allow me to gift memberships. I don't know how you did that. We'll have to talk. Super awesome. If I understand what Woon just did, Woon just handed out gift memberships to people, and you have to have turned on in YouTube that you're willing to accept gift memberships. It is done on a random, not a random, but it's done on an algorithm choice. So Woon and I have no choice, no decision making on who gets offered a free membership to my backstage membership content. It's done by an algorithm. It kind of assigns it by people who, how much you watch the channel already, and things like that. And then it assigns it to people who are kind of the most deserving and works its way down. So it looks like Woon just, you bought? Holy shit, you bought 10 gift memberships? Dude, wow. Thank you so much. Apparently, I thought I had the ability to gift for free some things, but now it's even more impressive. Holy shit. You're almost going to bring tears to my eyes. Thank you so much for spending money, it sounds like, to gift memberships. So what that means, if I'm understanding it correctly, and let me make sure what that means, Woon has paid. Woon is paid out of his or her. Is that a his or a her? Do I even know your gender? Anyways, Woon has paid out of their own money for 10 people to have 1 month's membership to my channel. Now, at the end of that, you will have to decide if you want to renew the membership and put your own credit card on file to keep the membership. But you get a free look to see if it was worth it. Woon's a male. I kind of figured it was going to be. So thank you so much. You've been a major supporter. You've gifted many times, and now you've just gifted to the entire community. I owe you one. So thank you so much. You paid more than that CD that I helped you get. So I'm in your debt. Anyways, so Thank you so much. It's only a shame that there weren't more people in the room, because hopefully everybody got a chance. Well, maybe it's good, because I mean, a smaller group, there's more likely that everybody that was here got at least an offer, or got a good chance at getting an offer. And again, you had to have turned on, and I don't know if it's a default, the option to be able to receive gift memberships. And I don't think it's a commitment on your part. You can get the free look for a month and then back out. All right, enough of that. We got sidetracked. I was trying to tell you about the court hearing. I plan on going to next week's court hearing, but it's a danger to myself. As I was saying in my video that I've recorded and haven't posted yet, there's a real danger to myself that people are angry at Bryan Kohberger. As they mentioned in the video that I was doing commentary on News Nation, Ashley Banfield, and Bryan Entonen, talking about the upcoming sentencing, and I was making commentary on their video. In that video, it was brought out that people are making threats against Bryan Kohberger's family, and his attorneys, and anyone associated with Bryan Kohberger, because they're angry and they want that guy killed, essentially. And so going to the courtroom in which people are angry that Bryan Kohberger is going to be able to live out the rest of his life in prison, that's not good enough for some people. Some people want to see him dead, and that's the reality of the matter. And so that courtroom is going to be dangerous. And here's why it's dangerous to me as a YouTuber. If anybody recognizes my face in that courtroom and they can't get to Bryan Kohberger, they're not allowed to bring a weapon in, so they're not going to be able to get that gun in to shoot him on the thing. They're either going to have two choices. They're going to either have to wait outside the courtroom and take it out on somebody who isn't Bryan Kohberger, because Bryan Kohberger is not coming out the front doors, I guarantee you. So they'll take it out on somebody else, maybe a YouTuber who's presumed his innocence until proven guilty. And again, that's what I do. I presume innocence until proven guilty. That's my show. So will somebody decide I can't get to Bryan, so I'll take it out on that effing YouTuber that supported him at some point? Who knows? I'm putting my own life in danger, in my opinion. I'm not being tongue in cheek. They literally said on the News Nation episode that I'm talking about, that they said that weird shit happens at sentencing. It's going to be a stressful situation. Emotions are high, and people are going to be in a really weird mood, and strange and dangerous shit happens at sentencing. People are going to want to extract vengeance. And so I guess this is the one point where I actually am kind of happy that my channel is little, right? Because maybe nobody will recognize me. And if nobody recognizes me, then nobody can decide that I'm going to take out Bryan Kohberger or that effing YouTuber, or both of them. So maybe the fact that I'm little will be a good thing in this particular case. Did I read Patterson's book yet? By the way, Woon Woon asked. Let me put that up on the screen. Did I read Patterson's book yet? No. Unlike Lana with Truth and Transparency, who read the entire book within one day of it being released, I had to wait for it to get released on the 14th. And then I'm doing a chapter or two every week. I take a very slow, deep dive on every single chapter. I was stunned to find out Lana was covering every single chapter of the book and had read it all within 24 hours of it coming out. Now, I did find out a lot of people got a copy of that book before it was released. I paid for a pre-release of the book, and there were people already talking about what was in the book before it ever came out officially. So I don't even know how they got on that list. Maybe Lana had the book for a long, long time. Oh, Luigi Unchained, you would recognize me. Hope you don't have any bad beef against me, and that you're not going to be in the courthouse and you're not going to shoot me in the court steps. That'd be nice if you would not do that for me. Thank you. Anyways, point being is that I do put myself in danger being at that courtroom. And unlike I did last time where I wore my hat that said Devil's Advocates on it, I'm not going to wear that. They made me take that hat off anyways going into the courtroom. Oddly enough, the family was allowed to wear a baseball cap, but they made me take it off. And I don't know if they made me take it off because it was disrespectful, the old style thinking of it's disrespectful to wear a hat inside of a building. I don't know if it was that, or if they recognized the Devil's Advocates logo and they're like, we don't want you advertising your YouTube channel, so take your fucking hat off, which I did. But anyways, point being is that I don't think I'm going to advertise Devil's Advocates in a situation that is highly charged and emotional. So let's hope in a way, as a YouTuber, you would think you would never say this. Let's hope in a way nobody recognizes me, because if they recognize me, who knows what kind of backlash I'm going to get. There could be a lot of hatred, and since they can't get to Bryan Kohberger, will they take it out on somebody who's presumed his innocence until proven guilty in a court of law? All right. Holy crap. You know what I should have done before I started this thing? I should have gone to the bathroom. Woo! Anyways, what else is there to tell you? In addition, so that's some, I was getting to this. So Ali Benevento, and I talked today. it's been a long time since I've had Allie on my show. She's my attorney friend from South Carolina, 15-year criminal defense attorney. She's right now she's doing a murder case, a capital punishment case, and she just had a documentary released. She made a documentary about one of the inmates that she helped with their case getting paroled, and so. She had a big reception for that, and a release of her new documentary. So she's been super, super busy and kind of incognito. I haven't been able to talk to Allie much at all. But today I had a short conversation with Allie, and she is very, very interested in coming on to the show again and talking about Luigi Mangione. She's interested in talking about Bryan Kohberger. Even though for a lot of you think Bryan Kohberger's story is over, Allie Benevento and I have much to talk about Bryan Kohberger. And let me tell you one thing that's going to happen. So, in fact, now that oh my God, I just told Allie the wrong thing. So here's the thing. This coming to Monday is when I'm getting bumped to Tuesday. And I told Allie that I thought she was coming on Monday with us because she was going to come on Birdie's show with me, and we were going to talk about the sentencing. But now that I'm thinking about it, the sentencing doesn't happen until Wednesday, which means it's the following Monday, and the following Monday should be the normal time. So I need to make sure Allie realizes we don't need to do it on Tuesday after the sentencing. We're going to do it on Monday after the sentencing as normal. Does that make sense to you at all? So this coming Monday, I won't be going with Birdie. I'll be going on Tuesday. The Monday after that, which will be the first Monday following the sentencing of Bryan Kohberger, Allie Benevento should be joining us on Birdie's show to talk about things related to the sentencing and things that happened that day, including if something crazy happens, like somebody jumps the bench and tries to kill Bryan Kohberger in the courtroom, or shoot a YouTuber like Devil's Advocates on the courthouse steps. So, of course, if that happens, she'll be talking on Birdie's show and I won't be there. But anyways, let's hope that doesn't happen. All right. What else is there today? Also, in Luigi Mangione's case, holy crap, Luigi Mangione's case had a big, enormous update. I did a rant, 45 minutes, I think. I think someone told me when they watched my video, I've never seen Devil's Advocates so angry. I don't know that I was angry. I was definitely ranting. I was definitely shouting at the camera. I was on fire, pissed off about the new developments in the Luigi Mangione case. And so we can talk a little bit about that tonight as well. We can talk about Rex Hiergerman. We can talk about Coberger. But let's take a little straw poll of the 40. So again, I was testing to see if this would be a little bigger live, being that I moved down away from another show. It just seems to be about my normal size. So we'll play this for a while and see how 6:30 does. But if it doesn't make any difference in the numbers, maybe we'll go back to 6 because it might be a better time. But let's take a poll now, informally in the room. Give me a 1 if you want to hear me talk more about Bryan Kohberger. Put a 2 in the room if you want to hear me talk about Luigi Mangione's latest developments in that case, and a 3 if you want me to talk about both, or even Rex Hiergerman. So it could be anything. 3 is kind of like either both or Rex Hiergerman or whatever. But 1, Bryan Kohberger, you want to focus mostly on that right now. 2, if you want it to be Luigi Mangione, or 3 if you want it to be Rex Hiergerman and or both, everything all together. Just scattershot shit. Tell me everything. We got a 3. We got a 1. Got a 3. Got another 3. Got another 3. That's a good sign. Got another 3. It's also a good sign. All right. So 2 would be for Luigi only. Oddly enough, Luigi Unchained votes for Luigi only. Michelle Forrester, Luigi only. All right. So we definitely have some Luigi only fans in here, and we've got some Kohberger only fans in here as far as those cases go. I don't want to say you're fans of Bryan Kohberger or fans of Luigi Mangione. You're fans of the content covering those cases. There is a difference. I don't want to presume that you're fans of or not fans of those individuals. So we're a little bit all over the place. Renee, of course, a Luigi supporter, not supporter, but you like the content. Well, you may or may not be a supporter, but the point being is that I know that that's where you lie. So we are all over the place. So let's and oh my gosh, do I have to go to the bathroom? Can I step away in my own live? How uncouth would that be? I should have taken care of business. Maybe because I'm pre-funking for the after dark party that's going to happen. All right. Let's cover a few things about let's cover a few more things about Kohberger since I started there. Then we'll move to Luigi Mangione, and then we'll take open questions and answers for the rest of the night. And I'm usually done in an hour after going live. So what are we looking at now? Woo! That's tiny in the corner for my old eyes. So we got about a half hour left of this show. In fact, I don't even have to look at that. I got on my screen that we're at 29 minutes. So I know when I hit an hour, we're at an hour. Okay. My video coming out today. Here's some shockers on the Bryan Kohberger situation before we jump to Luigi. So what just happened was Hitler has lifted the non-dissemination order, which allows people to start talking to the press. So people like Steve Gonsalves, who haven't talked much to the press to this point in the last 2.5 hours or 2.5 years, he'll be able to start talking. Yes, that's sarcasm. Steve Gonsalves has talked the entire time, even though other family members have kept completely quiet. But on top of Steve Gonsalves, police officers who are involved in it will be able to talk. Kathy Mabbitt, the coroner, will be able to talk. Everyone will be able to talk, right? So that happens immediately. People are allowed to talk. Now, including technically the lawyers or the attorneys on both sides, Ann Taylor and Bill Thompson. However, the prosecution indicated so the defense asked, can we not lift the gag order or the non-dissemination order? Can we not talk about the details in this case until after sentencing? And part of what I'm raging about, the video that I'm cut that was an hour and a half, and I'm going to cut some of it out, was News Nation suggesting that somehow the defense doesn't want truth and transparency, that they don't want things to come out. They don't want people talking about the truth. That wasn't the point at all. What they're saying is the same thing that I'm saying, was that for the safety of some of our lives, let's not get people worked up into a higher emotional state by giving graphic details about what happened in that house right before sentencing, where somebody might come to that courtroom to exact justice because they're spun up and angry and want to kill somebody and make somebody pay, because I'll guarantee you there are people out there who are thinking Bryan Kohberger is not getting away with living the rest of his life. I'm going to kill that MFer, right? And so that's going to be their attitude. I'm not letting this guy live the rest of his life in prison where he can enjoy his life when he took the lives from all these people and hurt all these people. I'll take him out if you won't take him out. And if that doesn't happen, will they exact violence on anyone that they can, because they can't reach Bryan Kohberger? So it's a danger. So that's what happened in the non-dissemination order, is that the defense said, can we wait a little bit before lifting the non-dissemination order so that people don't spin their emotions up right before sentencing, because crazy shit can happen in sentencing when everybody's emotionally charged. The prosecution has basically willingly said, we're not going to talk about the details in this case until after sentencing. The judge made it clear, Stephen Hitler made it clear, we're not going to unseal any documents. We're not going to unseal any of those documents until well after the sentencing. And again, there's a process that has to take place on unsealing documents in the first place. There's a difference between lifting the gag order, which allows people to talk, and unsealing documents, which proves what was actually in the court documents. Those are two separate things. So everybody's going to be able to run their mouth effective immediately. They can run their mouth and say anything they want to. But if you want to see what was actually submitted into the court on record on file with the court, you're going to have to wait for documents to be unsealed. Those unsealing of documents are going to take time. So one of the shockers, I'm going to give you a preview of my rant. I got this big video queued up, and one of the shockers is Steve Gonsalves telling us several things. The most shocking of which, Steve Gonsalves told Ashley Banfield on News Nation that Bill Thompson told you it wasn't a sexual crime, but it was a sexual crime. Bryan Kohberger gagged the two girls upstairs and attacked them. They were drunk and gagged, just like he searched on internet for his fetish of wanting to basically brutalize drunk and gagged women. And Ashley Banfield, like myself, jaw dropped on the floor and said, "Did you just say that the girls were gagged?" And he's like, "Yeah, those girls were gagged." New information. No one's ever heard that shit before. And I about lost my mind, because I'm thinking to myself, this creates more problems for the story than it answers. It answers nothing. It has new problems. Now you're telling me in 8 minutes that Kohberger went into the house by himself and gagged the women and then killed them? And when he was gagging the women, did any of them wake up? Like, I don't understand how he gagged the women. How does this make sense to me? Whatever. And Bill Thompson said there was no sexual element to whatever, and frickin' Steve Gonsalves again says that's a lie. There was a sexual element. It was sexual. Is he saying it's sexual because one of the girls was raped? How do we have time for rape now? There are more questions. For fuck's sake. There are more questions than answers. Now that people are allowed to talk, it's worse. It's not better. We're not getting closure. We're getting, how the hell does that make sense? You're telling us that they were gagged? Two of the girls were gagged in the house? Are you kidding me? And that's just some. That's just some of the shockers. I lost my mind on that interview. That was just some. Other points were Steve Gonzalez admitted that they've been lied to for 2.5 years. They were told that it was a targeted attack. It was isolated, targeted, and that and it suggested that Kohberger knew, or whoever the killer was, knew and targeted somebody. And they were surprised, the Gonzalez family, it seemed like from the Banfield interview, that at last minute they told us definitively Kohberger didn't have any relation to the girls at all. It wasn't targeted. It was just a random hit on a random house. He didn't know the girls. There's nothing connecting Kohberger to the girls. In fact, they said on the stand, we can't even place Bryan Kohberger in the house. So as he said, we were lied to. They told us it was a targeted, isolated event and non-sexual. And now we're finding out that two of the girls were gagged and that it had to do with his sexual fetish. What are you saying? And that it was targeted and it wasn't isolated, and it's like, I have more questions now than I had. And here's another slip up as a preview to my video that I'm going to put out tomorrow morning, I believe. Here's another slip up that I feel was a slip up that Steve Gonzalez said. And maybe I'm losing my mind and maybe I heard it wrong, but you'll be able to watch my video and hear it for yourself and see it for yourself. Steve Gonzalez said very early on, the Gonzalez family knew about the knife sheath, the DNA, and the CODIS hit. I again almost lost my mind. I've heard nobody talking about this on the internet. I've seen nobody talking about it on YouTube. But what the fuck do you mean? What do you mean, Steve? The CODIS hit. Let me explain it to you. CODIS is a database that law enforcement uses to register known criminals, their DNA from crime scenes or victims from crime scenes. And they stated to us very definitively when they entered the DNA from the knife sheath, they got no hit in CODIS. Bryan Kohberger didn't show up because Bryan Kohberger's not in the criminal database. There was no hit in CODIS. So then they moved to Othram Labs and started to develop a profile, which also did not come up with Bryan Kohberger. And then the FBI took over and they developed the DNA further, and they came up with the tip that Bryan Kohberger is the person you should look for. And so for Steve Gonzalez to say we knew about the CODIS hit on the knife sheath, what the hell do you mean? Did I miss something? If there's a CODIS hit, that means the DNA did match a criminal in the database. How could there be a CODIS hit? Now, maybe he made a mistake. Maybe it was a poor choice of wording. But again, I have more questions after his talking than I had going in. I have more questions today when they're allowed to talk than I did when I started. All right. That's enough for Kohberger for now. Let's give some time for Luigi Mangione. Again, I ranted for at least 45 minutes to an hour on what happened in the Luigi Mangione case yesterday. Karen Ignifilo. So for those who are not familiar with the case, let me give you a brief update on the case. Oh my God. So Pamela, when Steve said CODIS, I almost lost it. Thank God. I'm not the only one who saw that. I thought you couldn't have said that. There is no CODIS hit. There was no CODIS hit. What do you mean there's a CODIS hit? Thank God you're super bright. You caught that. I'm glad everybody who paid attention, because I thought maybe I'm like, did he just say there was a CODIS hit? How could there be a CODIS hit? They said there was no hit. Anyways, Kimberly as well. Fuck it. See, you guys, this is why we have a great community. Anyways, go back to Luigi Mangione. Luigi Mangione allegedly is the shooter of Bryan Thompson in New York City, downtown Manhattan on December 4th, 2024, when at an investor conference. Bryan Thompson was heading to an investor conference, and a shooter stepped out at about 6:40 in the morning and shot him dead on a street of New York. 5 days later, Luigi Mangione was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania, as the shooter who had made it to Altoona, Pennsylvania. He was extradited from Altoona, Pennsylvania, back to New York, where he is facing charges in 3 different criminal jurisdictions. He is facing charges in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for providing false identification to a police officer and for illegally possessing a firearm, among other things. And then he got extradited to New York, and he's being tried in New York by the state of New York for the murder of Bryan Thompson, and also the federal government for the murder of Bryan Thompson, which seems on its face value and has been argued by his attorney in both cases in New York, Karen Agnifilo. His attorney, by the way, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is Thomas Dickey. So he's got one attorney in Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and then Karen Agnifilo and her team representing him in both jurisdictions, the state and the federal case in the state of New York. The state of New York wants to try Luigi Mangione for an act of terrorism, which does not carry the death penalty. The state of New York doesn't execute people. They don't believe in the death penalty anymore. They haven't executed somebody for a long time. They aren't seeking the death penalty. That's not what New York does in the state. However, the federal government wants Luigi Mangione executed. And so the federal government charged Luigi Mangione as well with their own charges that said that it was basically he had crossed interstate lines in order to commit murder. And therefore, that rises to a level that the government can try him with murder and execute him, because the federal government does believe in executing people. So right now we're in a fight for Luigi Mangione's life to decide whether or not the federal government is going to execute him, whether the state's going to get their shot first. Now, here's where the shit get off the hook yesterday. Karen Agnifilo filed a motion that for the fourth time, at least now, the district attorney of New York, actually the assistant district attorney, not the official, the district attorney I think is Alvin Bragg, the assistant, so it's the district attorney's office under Alvin Bragg, but it was the assistant ADA, assistant district attorney, Joel Seidemann, and the other assistant district attorney, Capman. Shit, what's Capman's first name? Anyways, point being is that the district attorney's office, headed up by the assistant district attorney, lied and created fake court documents and made up a fake court date and lied to Aetna, an insurance company. Kaplan, sorry. Seidemann and Kaplan are the two assistant district attorneys. Anyways, Joel Seidemann, this is what was brought out. This is what was brought out by Karen Agnifilo. Joel Seidemann created an illegal letter to Aetna, who was Luigi Mangione's insurance provider, during a period of time when he was seeing a doctor, presumably for some back injury issues. And Joel Seidemann sent a letter threatening Aetna, saying, "Look, you have been subpoenaed by the Supreme Court of New York to present Luigi Mangione's number, his number of your insurance plan when he was with you, and the dates of service that he was with you at Aetna, and you are under subpoena to do so. And you need to provide it by the next court date, which was like May 23rd. And if you don't, you will be held in contempt of court." Here's the problem. Not only did Joel Seidemann lie, there was no subpoena. You have to get that from a judge. No judge gave him a subpoena. He didn't even ask for a subpoena. He lied to Aetna saying that they were under subpoena. Not only that, but there was no court date on May 23rd or whatever he said, saying that you must come to court and present this information to us on the 23rd. No such court date exists. Karen Agnifilo proved that definitively. So he lied not only about having a subpoena, he lied about what date they had to submit the information to. And then he lied and he told them, hey, in lieu of, of course he lied as well by telling them they're going to be held in contempt of court if they don't apply. That was illegal because there was no contempt of court. There wasn't a subpoena. There was no court date. Are you understanding how bad this is? It gets worse. Then he lied to them and he told them, hey, in lieu of going to court, which will be a pain in the ass, in lieu of going to court, you can just send me the information to me privately to my private email. And then they called them and said, hey, just go ahead and send that information over to me in email. Okay, so that's all that was done according to Karen Agnifilo, and I believe that is true. She has receipts. She shows where that happened. Then when Aetna did provide what was asked by the district attorney of New York, their office, when they provided it, they didn't provide what was asked, which was just his number with his insurance plan and the dates of service. They provided 120 pages of Luigi Mangione's doctor-patient conversations about his back injuries, about what he was being treated with, what he talked to his doctor about. That is all called HIPAA related information. It is your information between you and your doctor is protected under HIPAA laws. It is an extremely big law, and it is extremely against the law to violate HIPAA. So when Joel Seidemann lied and said you're under subpoena and you have to give me this information, it was a violation of the HIPAA. And then Their argument was, I don't know if you're going to follow the logic. I did a huge rant. If you want to see this rant, I have even more. I even yell more in the video I made today, which was something. What the hell did I title that? I can't remember what I titled it. I've just lost my shit. Anyways, the point being is that Karen said that they ended up calling Aetna. So in writing, they said, all we're asking for is his number and the dates of service that he was done. But she believes that they called up Aetna and said they wanted more. Aetna sent them 120 pages of Luigi's file. Not only top of that, but when they sent the file directly to the assistant district attorney instead of going to the court, because if a judge had seen, if it had gone, listen to this, if it had gone to the court like it was supposed to, like they threatened Aetna saying, you need to submit it to the court, but you could submit it to me directly. When they submitted it directly, no court saw it. If they had actually gone to court to submit the subpoena, shit would have hit the storm. They would have been a shitstorm, because then a judge would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? There is no subpoena. What do you mean there's a subpoena? There's no subpoena. We don't have a court date on this date. What are you here for? I don't understand. So they made it so that Aetna would send them the file directly to, in lieu of having to go to court, you can just send me the information directly. Then when they got it, the file had, I'm trying to summarize. I can't summarize. I'm going to give you my whole fucking 40-minute video. Pardon my French. I get hot. See, I was that angry on the video. Point being, storm shits. It's storm shits or a shitstorm. You make your choice. Anyways, point being, the first page of the 100-page document said, this is HIPAA and confidential information. That was like, there's no question. There's no question on the attorney's, the district attorney, that when they received 120 pages, the first page says, by the way, this is HIPAA protected information. It might as well have said, warning, warning, it's illegal for you to have this. Warning, it's illegal for you to have this. This is HIPAA information, protected doctor-client information. Every page, Karen Niflo said, almost every single page of that document on its face value tells you that it's protected HIPAA information, because every page of that document is discussions between the doctor and Luigi Mangione. Anybody on this face value could see that that's private conversations between a doctor and his client. So there's no excuse. So at the end of the day, I will try to summarize, because I'm not doing good summaries. At the end of the day, Karen Agnifilo asked for and will not receive, because we have a corrupt judicial system. That's my opinion. But Karen Agnifilo asked for one of three things. Fire the district attorney. Yes, she asked that. Please fire the U.S. district attorney, the assistant district attorney, Joel Seidemann, and fire Kaplan as well. The prosecutors that did this must be fired from their jobs. Fired. And go find yourself another assistant district attorney. They should be fired. She's asking, if you're not going to do that, dismiss all the charges against my client. Well, you know that's never going to happen, because there's no way in hell the government's letting go of Luigi Mangione. Neither the state or the federal government is going to let go of Luigi Mangione. They are going to prosecute that guy, and I don't care whether they have to break 1 million of your U.S. constitutional rights. She pointed out, by the way, in that letter that they also violated Luigi Mangione's rights by spying on their personal phone calls, of which somebody already got fired for it. Somebody had to recuse themselves from the prosecutor's office because they illegally spied on a phone call, which they're not allowed to do, between Karen Agnifilo and Luigi Mangione. She pointed that out. Hey, by the way, this is the 4th time you violated my client's constitutional rights. At what point are you going to fire every fucking person in the district attorney's office and start this trial over, or just dismiss the charges because you are breaking the law? I love Karen. Karen Agnifilo is a badass. And side tangent. Karen Agnifilo is a badass, right? She is doing shit that you were like, oh my God. And when she pulls off the gloves, she spanks the llama's ass. That's one of my things I say. Like, she spanks the llama's ass. She does not hold back, and she is brutal. She's like, these motherfuckers need to go to jail, or they need to be fired, or you need to dismiss all the charges against my client. And she's really good at the way she says it. Okay. She's a badass. Contrast this, and I don't want to pick on her too much, but contrast this with what Ashley Banfield said about Bryan Kohberger in his case today. She says, Bryan Kohberger might try to pull a maneuver where he says he had ineffective counsel, but I've never seen a better counsel. I've never seen a better defense than Bryan Kohberger got from his defense. Really? Do you think Karen Agnifilo and Ann Taylor are on equal footing? I don't know. If you watch both cases, you tell me. You tell me in the chat. If you've watched both cases, do you believe that Ann Taylor is on the same caliber as Karen Agnifilo? I just want to know, is anybody in here educated on both cases, can tell me that they think Ann Taylor is on equal footing with Karen Agnifilo? Are they equal quality? Did you see with Bryan Kohberger the best defense you've ever seen? Because I'll tell you this, Mark Agnifilo got P. Diddy, got Sean P. Diddy Combs off on all the major things against him because he could afford some of the best lawyers in the country. Karen Reed had a top-notch legal team. And again, I'm not saying that they were guilty. I'm not saying Karen Reed or P. Diddy were guilty. But one could argue that if they had a public defender, that case might have gone differently. But we're to believe that Bryan Kohberger got the best defense that money can buy with a public defender. All right. Jeez. All right. I've got about 15 minutes left, maybe less, but around that, we're going to go to 6:30, 7:30. We're going to go to 7:30 my time, Pacific Standard Time. So we got about 15 minutes left. Let's take questions, comments, or concerns. You can ask questions about Luigi Mangione. You can ask questions about Bryan Coberger. You can give comments about those. You can ask questions about Rex Heuermann. You can comment about whether you watched last night's Murder Metal Mayhem with Pete Alturi and that cool show. By the way, I have if you like I'm gonna give you a teaser, but I got to be careful because I'm trying to 100% confirm this. I have an amazing. The Discord channel, by the way, is coming up on the screen, but I will copy it and paste it before I get out of here. But listen to this. I want to give you a teaser. If you're interested in Lisk, the Long Island serial killer, Gilgo Beach, I don't want to say too much. I reached out to somebody who is highly involved with this case, and I was stunned that I received a phone call back from somebody who is highly involved with this case, and they are interested in coming on my show and talking. I'm trying to 100% confirm. When I got off the phone with this individual after 35, 40 minutes, it seemed like it was a locked down deal. However, they're a very busy person, and I haven't heard back from them today. So that phone call was 2 days ago. I didn't hear back from them today. I'm just going to 100% confirm it. And I'm asking them, can I have permission to tell people who I'm going on with? Because we want to do this interview, and it'll be enormous if you're interested in Long Island. If you're interested in the Long Island serial killer Rex Heuermann case, you will be stunned to find out who I've got lined up to come talk to us. But I got to keep it a little on the down low and don't make any guesses because I won't confirm or deny who it is. But I've got somebody queued up that will be enormous. You will not want to miss it. I just got to confirm with them that they're coming on, but I'm pretty sure they are. All right. Like I said, I'm not gonna comment, Amanda, on who it is because I need to confirm it first before I do that. All right. Any other questions? By the way, did you know? Oh, hold on. I gotta show you something. Let me see if I can pull this up. Image, downloads. Is that the right one? Boy, I'd hate to show the wrong one on the screen, wouldn't I? It is. Did you know? You know? I sound like Jerry Maguire. You know? Anyways, check this shit out. Joel Seidemann, the assistant district attorney in New York, who fucked up and lied about having a subpoena and lied about a court date and lied about how Aetna was going to be held in contempt of court and lied about receiving 120 pages of HIPAA-related information, all of those things, literally wrote this book on Amazon. This is not a joke. I didn't make this up. This is Joel Seidemann's book, Guilty by Reason of Stupidity. I ain't making that shit up. It's I'm still fucking laughing. Joel Seidemann, same person. Now, I had to double check. I'm like, this can't possibly be the assistant district attorney, Joel Seidemann. Oh, fuck yeah, it is. The assistant district attorney, Joel Seidemann, making fun of other people, guilty by reason of stupidity, and then broke the law 6 ways from fucking Sunday on Luigi Mangione. Guy will probably be fired. I think he should be fired. Wow. All right, let me get that Discord link up because people are reminding me and I'm about to forget. Discord. Invite, copy. All right, that's a Discord link. There's a room in my Discord channel called After Dark. That's where I think we're going to be heading. It's a voice channel. If you're not used to Discord, there's text channels that have little hashtags next to it, and then there's voice channels that have a speaker showing that you can talk in them. So you want to go to the After Dark channel. Right now, nobody's there. when I get off this call or this live, I'm going to go use the little boys' room. I'm going to shut down my heavy lighting, and I'm going to go pure audio on Discord because we're not going to stream it on video. And we'll go have some talk. Now, it's not going to be like last time, I assure you, because I love Birdie Bombshells. When Birdie Bomb shows up, hundreds of people show up. When I go by myself, a few people show up. I'm just not a draw. Like I said, he's the bigger date. I'm your choice when you don't have a better option. But let's go hang out anyways. I invite you to come to the Discord channel. It'll give you a nice one-on-one time if you want to ask me questions of a real personal nature. I'm pretty open book. I'll share some shit that will fucking curl your hair. But anyways, all right. Cloud. I don't want Joel Sideman to be fired. He needs to stay in the case and keep fucking up. Yeah, I literally. I think. That's the Cloud. That's the title of my video, I think, today. Are they trying to lose this case? Are they trying to... they literally have to be trying to lose this case. With the amount of things that they're breaking the law, they must be trying to lose this case. And I'm almost not joking. There's a part of me that's thinking, okay, in what scenario would they want to lose the case? Because I think they're trying to lose this case. You can't be that dumb. You can't. So they're trying to lose the case. So now I'm trying to figure out what would be the reasoning why they want to lose the state case. It feels like they have to. They have to be wanting to lose that case. All right, last minute questions. Do we have last minute? Do I have 8 minutes? I have 7 minutes, but I'm going to have to go pee in 5 minutes. So anyways, any other comments, questions, concerns? Peanut Gallery, Rex Hurman, Luigi Mangione. 2025, the year of FAFP, fuck ups galore, the year of the fuck up. Yeah, that's about right. FAFO, yeah. I was like, what is FAFP? I got it. Perfect. Yes. It is, and here's, what a great point. I wish I could bring it up on screen and give it credit to the person who said it. Somebody on YouTube made the comment when I was talking about how bad they're breaking the people's constitutional rights, right? How bad they're doing it. Here's the thing to consider. They're breaking constitutional rights, violating the law and doing illegal shit and violating constitutional rights in high profile cases. I believe that the federal government broke laws against Bryan Kohberger, by the way. That I believe they broke several laws against Bryan Kohberger. They've for sure broken the law many times against Luigi Mangione. And that's in a high profile case. Here's the sobering thought. If that's what they'll do in a high-profile case when the entire fucking country is watching it, how much is that happening to the little guy who can't afford to be a big name and can't afford to be on TV and they have a public defender? I swear to God, it should scare the shit out of you. If they will break the law in a high-profile case where everyone's watching, what chance do you have if you're accused of something in this country and you're a little guy or a little girl and you don't have money? You don't have the money to hire a highfalutin attorney. If they will violate your U.S. constitutional rights in a high-profile case, you're fucked if you're a little person. That's a sobering thought. Like, let that sink in. It's like, can I get a moment of silence? I feel like we need a moment of silence on that shit. Can you fathom that? How often will they violate your U.S. constitutional rights when the entire country is watching? If they're doing that when the entire country is watching, how often will they do that if nobody's watching? You know what I think? The PDFS and rugs behind everything, 436 distracting us from but what is really underneath rug rings and their PDFS. So I will say inside your bones, one of the things that I do, and I don't blame you for doing what you do, but one of the things you do is I don't have a problem saying drugs. I don't say rugs outside drugs. So you're talking about drugs. What's the PDFS? I'm trying to think about what's the PDFS. But anyways, point being is that there's a lot of discussion about the drugs angle in the Coberger situation. We may never find out about that kind of stuff. But yeah, for sure. I know someone on YouTube who had that happen with 1.5 subs. Had what happen? What happened, Jared Smith? Or Somebody says, or they can be creating case law that can be used in the future. I don't know exactly what you were talking about there, but you're right. Every single time the government gets away with something, it sets a precedence that they can get away with that again in the future. I don't know if that's where you're going with it, but yeah, every time something's allowed to happen, it just flies by, it sets a precedence. Well, we've done it before, so you didn't have a problem with it before. We can do it again. Oh, pedos. Got you. I can see why you were afraid of saying that. So again, I will say pedophiles. I don't have a problem with it. I understand why you don't want to do that. One of the reasons why I moved away from TikTok is I couldn't say a fucking thing about the news without getting banned for violating community guidelines. One thing I love about YouTube so far, as my channel continues to grow, is that they allow me to talk about murder. They allow me to talk about the news. And as long as I'm covering true crime and I'm not doing it for sensationalism, which I never do it for sensationalism, YouTube tells me, they assure me that my freedom of speech is protected. So I'm trusting them. I have not been spanked yet. Maybe, but I don't think so. My channel's growing too fast, but maybe I'm getting shadow banned. Maybe they're not putting my content out to as many people because I talk about controversial stuff. And if that's the case, I wouldn't know it. But to be honest with you, my channel's growing okay. So what do I guess I can't complain even if they're shadow banning me a little bit. Who knows? All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up at that. It's past an hour officially now. I have to go to the bathroom like you wouldn't believe. I got one of my mods in the After Dark show. If you want it again, thank you, Ange, for the gift on the way out, the super chat. Appreciate that so much. Thank you. It means a lot. And as a parting banner, by the way, I'm going to say one more time, this is going to come at a risk. As a parting shot, by the way, I know some of you were gifted. Up to 10 of you received a free 1 month subscription. It's only $2.99 for a monthly subscription to my Backstage account. And I know that somebody have busted my balls. Here's the thing. I don't know how you feel about this, but somebody told me that I was an asshole for offering paid content. You're a little tiny channel and you're just going to piss people off with putting stuff behind a member only area because you're a tiny channel. You're not big enough to be offering member only content. I'm sorry that you find offense that I charge $3 for some behind the scenes content. If that offends you, you probably shouldn't be on my channel. And there's a massive amount of my stuff that's for free. But if you want some other stuff, some extra content, you can pay $3. It's less than a cup of coffee. But somebody thinks that I'm an asshole for even offering that. I'm too tiny of a channel to be offering free content that is paid. All right, enough of that side tangent. I told people that I would stop bitching about my trolls as much, and I will. I will stop bitching about it as much. It's not a big deal. It was one of those moments. I don't know why. How did it come up? Somebody gave me a super chat. I'm like, that's the same price as it costs for my membership. And that's what triggered that. All right. I'm gonna close down the stream right now. Thank you so much for checking in. I will tell you one more thing on the way out since you're here. This is a test to see if the new time does better for audience. This isn't any better so far. This audience is the same size as my normal audience, so I don't know if I should stay at 6 or try 6:30. I'll try 6:30 for a 1 week. If 6:30 doesn't change the attendance numbers, I'll probably go back to 6 because it's better for me and it's probably better for the majority of the audience. But if the numbers pick up at 6:30, then we'll stay at 6:30. I don't know. I'll let you know how that's going. And that's the kind of stuff that I share with my members because it's like not everybody needs to know that. All right. Have a good night. Thank you for checking in. Check out my latest videos. I'm making videos all the time. And I got a big one queued up again about Steve Gonzalez's latest discussion about how the girls were gagged in the room and it was a sexual crime. And there was a CODIS hit. Fuck. All right. I'm out.